Hey guys, this is Daniel here. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I wanted to make a video on a passage I've seen in the Bible in the book of Matthew, Matthew 17, particularly Matthew 17:15. I just want to read a little bit and explain my kind of understanding of it. Something strange kind of dawned on me while I read it. This is Matthew 17. Jesus heals an epileptic boy. Now the Bible I'm reading from is a Catholic edition. And in some versions of the Bible, this sentence is Jesus heals a demon-possessed boy. But I just noticed in my Bible it says Jesus heals an epileptic boy. And I just read here from it. When they came to the crowd, a man approached Jesus and knelt before him. Lord, have mercy on my son, he said. He has seizures and is suffering greatly. He often falls into the fire or into the water. I brought him to your disciples, but they could not deal with him. You unbelieving and perverse generation, Jesus replied, how long shall I stay with you? How long shall I put up with you? Bring the boy here to me. Jesus rebuked the demon, and it came out of the boy, and he was healed at that moment. Then the disciples came to Jesus in private and asked, why couldn't we drive it out? He replied, because you have so little faith. Truly I tell you, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you. So this part of the Bible in the book of Matthew is specifically stating that the reason the disciples couldn't remove this demon from this boy is because they have little faith. Then the disciples came to Jesus in private and asked, why couldn't we drive it out? So the disciples asked Jesus, why couldn't they drive out the demon? And Jesus replies, because you have so little faith. So this passage and what Jesus is referring to, that the reason that this boy has a demon inside him is to do with his faith. It's to do with something inside. It's not commenting on activity that's happening outside. It's commenting on faith that the boy have, or faith that the disciples have. But now if we go back and we read here in Matthew 17:15, Lord, have mercy on my son, he said. He has seizures and is suffering greatly. He often falls into the fire or into the water. So the fire that Jesus is referring to here, or the boy's father is referring to here, is not a physical fire. It's not a fire outside. It's the fire within. And I imagine as well that the water also represents something inside as well. And this is why this boy is possessed with a demon. And it's interesting here that within this passage in Matthew 17:15 that the boy has seizures. And you would associate seizures with epilepsy. So go on down here, I have an image here of Jesus and the Immaculate Heart. So you imagine here is an image of Jesus with his heart on fire. So I imagine what this passage is referring to is this boy who has a demon inside him, who has seizures, possibly epileptic seizures. The reason he's having seizures is because he's selfish. He keeps gratifying himself, keeps falling back into the fire. He won't purify his heart and turn towards Christ. He keeps gratifying himself, falling back into the fire. Notice here with Jesus where the fire is associated on his body. You know, it's near his stomach. So would the water then also suggest maybe a lower level that the boy is gratifying himself, and this is the result of why he has this demon inside him, why he has these seizures. So I just want to take from other passages as well. This is the same passage here. It's Matthew 17:15, and this is from the New International Version. Lord, have mercy on my son, he said. He has seizures and is suffering greatly. He often falls into the fire or into the water. Lord, have mercy on my son. He has seizures and suffers terribly. So terribly. He often falls into the fire and into water. This is the English Standard Version. Lord, have mercy on my son, for he has seizures and he suffers terribly. For often he falls into the fire and into water. Lord, have mercy on my son, he said. He has seizures and is suffering terribly. He often falls into the water. Here in the Berean Literal Bible, I'm saying, Lord, have mercy on my son, for he is epileptic and suffers miserably. For often he falls into the fire and often into the water. Or here the New American International Version, Standard Version. Lord, have mercy on my son, for he is a lunatic and is very ill, for he often falls into fire and often into water. So in some Bibles, this boy is described as having epilepsy. He's described as being ill. In other versions, he's described as having a demon inside him. But I just thought it was interesting, the title of the Bible that I have, the version that I have, it's Jesus heals an epileptic boy. In some other versions, it's Jesus heals a boy possessed by a demon. But I just thought this idea that epilepsy is the result of sin and gratifying ourselves, falling back into the fire, not following Christ, and falling back into the water inside us. And epilepsy possibly cannot be cured with modern medication, drugs, and things like that. It's actually a direct result of having no faith in Christ and no faith in general. So that was just something interesting from the book of Matthew. If anyone wants to have a wee read, and let me know what your comments are about it. So thank you for listening, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you again.